Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I've got 8 of our favorite dips to share with you. And I've got several savory dips, but also a couple sweet dips for you. These would be perfect for family game night or movie night, for company, or to take to any of the upcoming get-togethers and holidays we've got over the summer season. So if you could use a good dip recipe or two, or maybe just a reminder of something you haven't tried in a while, keep watching. Now I'm going to start on the Rotel Dip, which I know you probably already know how to make this, but I wanted to share it just in case. To my slow cooker, I'm adding a block of Velveeta cheese that I cut into cubes. Next, I'm going to add in a can of Rotel. Do not drain this. You can use mild, medium, hot, whatever you'd like. I'm using mild today. Then I'm going to add in some cooked breakfast sausage. This is the hot Jimmy Dean. I didn't feel like it was too spicy. So I've cooked the breakfast sausage. I've drained it. And I like to add only half a pound of breakfast sausage. I feel like adding a full pound to this just makes it a little too meaty. But if you want to add the whole pound, of course, do it. I'm going to place a lid on this. And then I cook this on low for about 3 to 4 hours. I did check it every hour or so and give it a stir just so that the cheese on the bottom and around the sides didn't burn. All right, so here is that finished Rotel dip. And then on this particular night, we had it with some chicken wings and barbecue meatballs, and this was delicious. Classic tortilla chips to dip with Rotel dip, but you can also do Doritos, corn chips, crackers, or vegetables. Next, I'm making what my husband calls Aunt Pam's dip. Now, Aunt Pam is not his actual aunt. It's a family friend, but she was very close to him, just like an aunt would be. So she used to make this dip for different gatherings and stuff like that, and he loved it. So he requests that I make it every Christmas, and so I'm happy to do that for him. I don't have her exact recipe, but I just kind of looked on Pinterest years ago based on what he told me was in it or what he remembered, and he says it tastes exactly the way that she made it. So let me show you how we make it. It's super easy and delicious. Here are the ingredients that I use, but before I get into the ingredients, a quick note. Years before I met my husband, I got a recipe from a lady that I used to work with for a taco dip, and I made it that way for years, and that's honestly the way that I prefer it, but I wanted to share it this way because it's delicious still, and it's my husband's favorite and one of his family favorites. But I'll kind of walk through the differences between the two recipes as I'm making it. There really aren't a lot of differences. Both of the taco dips are very similar, but for the Aunt Pam's version, I'm going to use shredded cheddar cheese, sour cream, softened cream cheese, and then you need salsa. You could use your favorite jarred, you could make your own, but I will say it's best if you use a chunkier salsa. I'm just using what I had on hand today, and it was a little bit liquidy. I mean, it's fine either way, just if you use a more juicy salsa, it can get a little watery as it sits out a little while. So like I said, it's kind of best if you use a chunky salsa. And then Aunt Pam's dip didn't call for this, but I like to add a little bit of taco seasoning. So let me show you how I put this together. I don't remember if I mentioned this, but I'll of course have all the recipes in the description box below, and I'll type out Aunt Pam's version of the taco dip as well as the other version that I was telling you about. I'll have both of those in the description box. So in this bowl, I'm just adding in the cream cheese, and I like to give it a little stir just to kind of loosen it up. I'm then going to add in the sour cream and stir that until it's well combined. Then I'm going to add in the taco seasoning and again stir that until it's well combined. Then I'm going to take that mixture and add it to my serving dish. Normally I use like a 9x9 casserole dish. I'm using this little tray that my mom got me at the Dollar Tree because I'm having the recipe for my husband and I tonight. But you just want to spread that cream cheese layer out, and then I'm going to add my salsa on top. Now the main difference between Aunt Pam's dip and the other taco dip is instead of using salsa, the other taco dip lays down that exact same cream cheese, sour cream, taco seasoning mixture. You lay that down, and then you sprinkle diced tomatoes, diced onions, and diced bell peppers on top. So basically salsa, just a little less liquidy. And I like the crunch from the fresh vegetables. But you just add that layer, and whether you're using the salsa or the chopped onions, bell peppers, and tomatoes, you add that layer, and then finally you add the shredded cheddar cheese. that's it. I'm going to cover this with some foil or plastic wrap, and you'll want to put this in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes just so the cream cheese hardens back up a little bit. Now, like I mentioned earlier, especially if you're using salsa, as it sits, it will get a little bit watery, which is fine. I mean, it's still delicious. It just gets a little watery, so just be mindful of that. I wouldn't recommend making this the day before unless you only made like the cream cheese layer and you left off the salsa and cheese, you know, to add it closer to when you're serving it. I hope that makes sense, but this is really yummy and a crowd pleaser, so I recommend you give it a try. Next up, I'm making pizza dip. This recipe was given to me by my mom's friend, Leslie. I'll have it typed out in the description box below. In this bowl, I'm adding in the cream cheese. Normally, I just use softened cream cheese, but I had a half a package of whipped cream cheese on hand, so I'm going to use that up. I added it to this bowl, and then I just stirred it a little bit just to add in a little bit of air. Then I'm adding in the sour cream, the garlic salt, and then the recipe calls for grated Parmesan cheese, but again, I had some of this shredded Parm on hand. I'm just trying to use it up, so I've added that. And a quick note, because it was just me again this night, and my husband was still out of town, I halved the recipe. I stirred that until it was well combined, and then I'm placing that into a greased baking dish and spreading that out. Here I had about a half a jar of this Great Value pizza sauce in my fridge. Need to use it up, so I'm going to add that. You can use your favorite pizza sauce, or you could, of course, make your own. Next, I'm going to add the mozzarella cheese. And then for the toppings, I like to just add chopped up pepperoni. You could also use the little mini pepperonis. Those are really good. But you could use whatever toppings you like. You could do chopped bell pepper, chopped onions, black olives, cooked Italian sausage, whatever you like. So I've added my chopped pepperoni. This is going to go into a preheated oven set at 350 degrees and bake this for about 15 to 20 minutes or until it is nice and bubbly. So here's the finished pizza dip. And here's my plate. On this particular day, we ate the pizza dip with some wings, and then I really love this pizza dip with bread. You can, of course, do crackers or chips, but I really think bread kind of takes it over the edge, especially if you make like garlic bread crostinis. So good. Now I'm gonna make Cowboy Caviar. This is a family favorite. My husband especially loves this. He requests that I make it every once in a while, and I'm happy to because it is easy and it's super delicious. Now, I make mine just a little bit differently than what I've seen other recipes like on Pinterest and things for, so I'll show you how I make mine. Feel free to customize it. Use whatever you like. If I use something and you don't like it, skip it. It's your kitchen. You make it your own. Let me show you the ingredients that I use. First, I've got some garlic powder. I normally also use minced fresh garlic, but I was out this day, so the garlic powder will work just fine. I've got a can of corn, a can of Rotel, or the Walmart version anyway, of diced tomatoes and green chilies. Sometimes I use the canned Rotel if I've got it on hand. If I don't, I just use a can of diced tomatoes. Next, I normally add some diced bell pepper. I didn't have any this day, but I did have about a half a jar of pimentos left over. I'd made a pimento macaroni and cheese a couple nights before, and I wanted to use those up, so I added that. I've got some black-eyed peas, black beans, jalapeno, cilantro, red onion, and I ended up adding some lime juice later. It's not pictured here though. And then lastly, Italian dressing. Now I know that might sound a little bit odd. It doesn't taste Italian, if that makes any sense, in the salsa. It just adds a good flavor. I mean, with all the other ingredients, it becomes just basically kind of like a vinaigrette. You don't really taste the Italian flavor, if that makes sense. So let me show you how we make this. This is so easy. We're basically just going to assemble it. In this large mixing bowl, I've got the can of corn that I drained, the can of Rotel that I drained, the black beans, I rinsed and drained those really well, and then the black-eyed peas, I rinsed and drained really well. To that, I'm going to add the jalapeno that I finely diced. I removed the seeds, but you can feel free to leave the seeds in if you like things a little more on the spicy side. I'm going to add in those diced pimentos. I'm adding in some of the finely diced red onion. Then I'm going to add in the chopped cilantro and some lime juice. And while I'm doing that, I got a note for the Super Bowl. I'm curious, do you all even watch the Super Bowl? If you do watch it, do you watch it for the teams that are playing? Do you watch it because you're just a football fan? Do you watch it, just because it's an excuse to eat lots of snacks and hang out with your friends? Do you watch it for the Super Bowl commercials? So let me know in the comments down below. And I'm genuinely curious. Me personally, we normally watch the Super Bowl. We're not big football fans. I mean, we like it okay, but it's just not something that we follow actively. So for the Super Bowl, normally it's an excuse for us just to eat snacks and hang out. But this year, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of stoked about the halftime show. I'm just going to be honest. I am going to be reliving my high school days. So I'm kind of excited about that. But anyway, so I'm then going to add the Italian dressing. I also added some salt and pepper. I'm going to give this a stir, and then that's it. You can, of course, eat this right away if you'd like, but it will be much better if you allow it to sit in the refrigerator, even for as little as 30 minutes. But you'll just want to cover it, allow it to sit for a little bit, and then it's ready to serve to your guests. We like to eat this with some tortilla scoops, chips, so that you can kind of get a little bit of everything, so to speak. But this is so delicious. I really think your guests will love it. I recommend you all give this a try. Next up, I'm making a s'mores dip. This is perfect for family game night, family get together, and it is so easy. It's really just 2 ingredients. Here's what you'll need. You'll need some kind of chocolate. You can use Hershey's chocolate bars. I only had a few of the little mini size though, and I didn't think it would be enough. So I also have some semi-sweet chocolate chips, and then you'll need marshmallows. I'm using mini marshmallows. You can use mini, you can use the regular size, whatever your preference is or whatever you've got on hand. I've got my oven preheating to 400 degrees. I sprayed my casserole dish with just a little bit of cooking spray. Now, I'm using the small casserole dish because it was just my husband and I. If you're doing this for a crowd, I would do like a 9x13, or even better, like a cast iron skillet, because as you pull that out of the oven, you're going to have some carryover heat from that cast iron that will keep the dip a little bit warm for you. Super easy. All we're going to do is lay down a single layer of the chocolate, lay down a layer of the marshmallows, and then this is going to go into the preheated oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. You do want to keep an eye on it though, that your marshmallows don't burn. Once the marshmallows are toasted, that's it. It's ready to serve. Here are the dippers that I set out for us. Be creative, use what you've got on hand. Of course, maybe have some graham crackers in there. It is a s'mores dip after all. But then again, be creative, use what you like. I've got some pretzels, some apple slices, vanilla wafers, strawberries. You could also do some bananas, orange slices, different cookies, animal crackers. Again, whatever you and your guests or family would enjoy. All right, here's the finished dip and our dippers. This was super delicious. And out of all the dippers, our favorite was actually the apples. It was really, really yummy. Next, I'm making what I call my ranch chip dip. This isn't a completely unique recipe to me. I basically took existing recipes that I've seen for a loaded baked potato dip, and I made just a little change to it to kind of make it my own. And do that, with recipes, make it your own and use what you like. And that's how I came up with this. And we love this. I've made this so many times over the years. I've taken it to work potlucks, church potlucks. I've served it at get-togethers. It's just yummy and it's really easy. It is a crowd pleaser. Let me show you what I'm going to use to make it. All right, I've got some sour cream, some crumbled bacon. You can, of course, cook up your own bacon and crumble it. I'm just using this crumbled bacon from Sam's Club. You'll need some shredded cheddar cheese, some green onions that we're going to chop up, and then for my little twist, so years and years ago when I first made this, I had a packet of this ranch dips, the Fiesta kind, on hand, and I wanted to use it up. So I decided to add that to this dip. And it was really good, but these little dips are pretty salty. So what I've kind of tweaked over the years is I use a half a packet of the Fiesta dip mix, and then I basically use a half a packet's worth of just dry ranch Hidden Valley dressing mix. You could use the whole Fiesta packet if you prefer. Just for my personal taste, it's a little bit salty, but you do you. If you want to use the whole packet of Fiesta dip, you go for it. All right, let me show you how to put this together real quick. So in my bowl, I'm going to add in my sour cream. I just add this 16-ounce sour cream for, like I said, get-togethers and stuff like that at our house. If you're making this for a big potluck, you can easily double or triple this recipe. Next, I'm going to add in the Fiesta mix as well as the dry ranch dressing mix. And if you don't have the Fiesta mix on hand, or if you can't find it, you could just use all dry ranch dressing mix and add in a little bit of taco seasoning, and it tastes pretty much the same as the little Fiesta seasoning packet. Next, I'm going to add in the cheese and bacon and scallions. And to be honest with you, I've made this so many times that I just eyeball it. I use how much ever cheese and bacon and green onions I feel like using that day. But I'll have the exact measurements typed out down below if you would prefer to have exact measurements. So once I add that, I'm going to stir it until it's combined really well, and then that's it. Like with the cucumber jalapeno dip, you of course can serve this right away. I suggest putting it into the refrigerator for a couple hours before you serve it, just to let the flavors come together. To serve this up, I like to use the wavy potato chips. You could use corn chips, crackers, whatever you like. And then before I serve it though, I do like to add just a little bit of cheese and bacon on top as a little garnish. You don't have to do that. This is so incredibly delicious. And a quick note, you can use Greek yogurt. If you don't have sour cream or prefer to use Greek yogurt, you can totally use the Greek yogurt. I've done that before and it is delicious. Next, I tried a new recipe for a pepper jelly cheese dip. My granny used to make pepper jelly. Well, I guess not make, more like serve. It's just 2 ingredients. But she used to set out pepper jelly and cream cheese like at Christmas, and we would eat it on Ritz crackers. So yummy. For whatever reason, we normally only have that at Christmas, but it's so delicious. And when I saw this recipe on Pinterest, I was like, I have got to give this a try because we really love that combination. So let me show you how to make this. Just a few ingredients. It's really easy and it is tasty. I'll have the recipe linked in my description box below. A quick note, I did have the recipe. So first you'll need some pepper jelly. This is peach pepper jelly that we got in Georgia a couple months ago, but just use whatever pepper jelly you like. We've got some softened cream cheese, some Ritz crackers that we're going to crush up, some chopped scallions or green onions, and then some cooked and crumbled bacon. And then you'll need some shredded cheese. The recipe called for shredded cheddar cheese, but I had some Monterey Jack cheese on hand that I wanted to use up, so that's what I'm going to use. I've got the oven preheating to 350 degrees. In this bowl, I have the softened cream cheese. I'm going to add to that the cheddar cheese, or in my case, the Monterey Jack cheese, and the green onions, and stir it until it's really well combined. Now, a quick tip, if your cream cheese isn't as soft as what you would like, or if you forget to set it out, just place it in a bowl, take it out of the foil paper, of course, put it in a bowl, and then pop it in the microwave on defrost for maybe 10-15 seconds tops, and it'll soften right up for you. So once I've got that mixture combined really well, I'm going to take a baking dish, spray it with some cooking spray. I'm going to spread that cream cheese mixture out on the bottom of the dish. Then I'm going to sprinkle on the crushed Ritz crackers, then the cooked and crumbled bacon, and that's it. This is going to go into the preheated oven, and it's going to bake for 15 minutes. In this bowl here, I have the pepper jelly. So once the dip is done baking, I'm going to remove it from the oven. I'm going to pop this bowl into the microwave and cook it for about 30 seconds. Give it a stir, and then immediately pour it over the dip, again, that has come out of the oven, and I just kind of spread the pepper jelly out with the back of my spoon. So this is the finished dip. I served it with some Ritz crackers like the recipe suggested. I also had some club crackers, if I could talk, on hand, and this was delicious. We really enjoyed this, and I will absolutely make this again. Next, I'm going to make some fruit dip. This is one of our favorites. Now, this is not at all healthy, but this is really, really good. So here's what you'll need. You'll need some softened cream cheese, some marshmallow cream, some vanilla. You'll need some kind of sweetener of your choice. I like to use powdered sugar, but you can also use honey or maple syrup. And then I like to add in a little bit of orange juice. So to get started, you're going to place your cream cheese into a mixing bowl. I'm then going to add in my marshmallow cream. Now, I'm having the recipe because my husband and I are just having this with our dinner tonight, but I will include the full recipe in the description box below. I'm then going to add about a tablespoon of powdered sugar. I'm going to add a little splash of vanilla. And then this is optional, but I really like to add in a tablespoon or two of fresh orange juice. I just love the flavor that this gives it, but again, it's optional. I'm then going to take my hand mixer and mix that until it's well combined. And you can serve this right away, or you can place this in the refrigerator until you're ready to serve. And I like to pair the dip with fresh strawberries, grapes, pineapple, but really any fruit in this is delicious. This is really good. All right, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, like I said earlier, maybe you remembered a dip you haven't made in a while, or you found something new that you want to give a try. Thanks so much for watching. If you did like this video, hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.